discussed today that Bruce Carter-Weed is also planning to meet with the town council and the school committee to discuss their legislative agendas or wishes. So we need to coordinate with the council to find a date. All right, so any suggestions as to a process there?
What do you think, Michael?
I don't think Bruce has gotten the letter yet, but I assume it will arrive here. Mike will get it shortly. We have a million meetings, so.
I know you do. So do we with our budget meetings.
Maybe have Marcia contact Bruce.
Float some dates.
I need some dates.
Dates and months, yeah, right.
Yeah. Your people contact my people.
Well, I mean, it's going to be, they're in legislative session.
Yeah, so.
So the only night they don't meet, they're not, the legislature doesn't meet on Monday nights. But you guys meet the first and the third Monday night, and you have water.
And then we're meeting next Monday, and then we're meeting, and the Monday after is the first, so that's it.
But maybe we want to schedule them into a town council.
Into one of those, yeah.
Into one of the town council meetings, and then we can attend. You can.
There are a number of issues about which we should express our.
I'll give Bruce a call tomorrow.
Okay.
He was the last person I talked to just before I came in.
He talks to a lot
Didn't
of
bring it
folks.
up, so
I'm surprised he still has a
Okay.
voice.
Well, that would make sense to put it onto a town council
Yeah.
agenda, early on the agenda, so that the legislators can leave. Good. Correspondence?
Or stuff through Ryan and so forth.
Okay.
yeah.
All right then, old business for discussion and possible action, food service update. We have our usual food service
And the trends continue to be as they have been.
as they have. Any questions or concerns?
Nothing new.
Nothing new.
Nothing new.
Not even
All right.
one.
Okay.
I guess.
Tuition contract revision. This is the revision we've talked about for a while. The language has now been looked at on both sides by the lawyers. I believe the NK is on their agenda for next week, I believe. So let me walk you through it. Everybody has their copy. And again, just the preferences. This is not related to the high school review. This is a previously discussed change to the NK contract should it go forward. That would be putting in a rollover so that every year, unless one of us gave notice, it would roll over a year, which seems to make sense. And there's also a change of clarification of language concerning what used to be called our reorganization of grades. If we decide to send our 9th grade to a different school, and then the following year will be the 9th and 10th, and then the 10th, 10th, and 11th. But the language was quite murky in the old version, so here's, give it a shot here. The rollover agreement would read that this agreement will roll over each year unless notification by either party is given by November 1st to the other party under paragraphs 4 and 5, or 5, which have to do with pulling out. Okay? Yeah, that's it. And then paragraph 4, which has to do with NK notifying us that they can no longer accept us, and again, it would be a staggered withdrawal of our students. That if North Kingstown opts to discontinue accepting additional Jamestown students, notice will be given in writing to the Jamestown School Committee no later than November 1st of the year prior to discontinuance. It is agreed that Jamestown students already enrolled in North Kingstown High School at the close of the school year will be allowed to continue to attend NK High School until they graduate under the tuition formula specified in the agreement dated June 30th, 2001, and the first addendum thereto. And that this same provision will apply to any student sent by Jamestown who is enrolling in the same grade level as the Jamestown students allowed to complete their secondary education at North Kingstown High School. In other words, if we got a new student who was in a grade that was at NK.
That's important because it would call it military.
Correct,
Mhm.
correct. It is further agreed
Or
that
come back
North,
to private school.
or come back to high school. It is further agreed that North Kingstown will continue to serve as the high school of record for the above-mentioned students until graduation. And then our paragraph, which would be concerning us withdrawing students, similar language, that if Jamestown opts to discontinue sending additional Jamestown students to North Kingstown High School, notice will be given in writing to the North Kingstown School Committee no later than November 1st of the year prior to discontinuance. The parties agree that Jamestown students already enrolled in North Kingstown High School at the close of the school year will be allowed to continue to attend NK High School until they graduate, under the tuition formula specified in the agreement dated June 30th, 2001, and the first addendum thereto, and that this same provision will apply to any student sent by Jamestown who is enrolling in the same grade level as the Jamestown students allowed to complete their secondary education at North Kingstown High School. It is further agreed that North Kingstown will continue to serve as the high school of record for the above-mentioned students until graduation.
Very clear.
Very clear. Okay, so,
And there were no changes to the language itself of the contract because you're waiting until the financial things were settled out.
the tuition
Chart of accounts
formula
and stuff.
cannot be
Right.
reworked until we,
Then there are no other language changes.
no.
So I noticed that this was a 10-year contract previously, and our language saying it's year to year overrides that. It's not like we're re-upping.
Correct.
And it was originally North Kingstown that proposed this because there were certain members that, thought that they might want to end our agreement. But I think it serves us well in addition because, we saw some trends at both schools and we want to continue to watch those things. And if at any point we think that wherever the students are isn't the best place for them, then we could choose to end it for the following year.
Okay? Well, we could have done that as well, but, under the old language. We
But
could
not
have
every
done
year.
that. Not every year, no. Doesn't mean not every year.
Not like it's, because it's rolling over. Or
No, it would roll, the rolling over, the only thing that rolling over achieves is that we don't have to then gear up for this in another 10 years. It will just continue to roll over. Yeah, under the old contract, we still have the right, under the old contract, to end it and pull our ninth graders, even though we had a 10-year contract. All right, so if there are no concerns,
Just one quick thing.
Yes.
I mean, in the bad case scenario. So we roll it over year to year to year, and rather than having the comfort of knowing that for the next 10 years, this is where the kids are going to go, each year, it could change.
well, it could have changed it under the old contract. NK had the right to,
At any time
at
during
any
that 10
time.
years.
As
So what was the value of 10
By
years?
November 1st. Well, we didn't have to renegotiate for 10 years.
Okay, so under the present situation, at any time during that time, by November 1st, they could have.
Correct.
So why did we call it a 10-year contract?
Because it would, if neither party notified the other by November 1st, the terms of the contract would stay the same for the 10 years.
Okay.
Including tuition, right?
The formula.
The formula,
Right,
okay.
the formula. Okay,
Darn.
all right. Any questions or problems? Concerns? All right, then do I have a motion to approve the changes, proposed changes to the agreement
I
with
move
North
that
Kingstown High School?
We adopt the proposed changes to our agreement with North Kingstown School Department for our high school of record.
Second.
All in favor?
Before we take a vote, can I ask?
Yes.
So if I'm a layman citizen, what does that mean to me? Does that mean that if I've got 8th graders, they're going to North Kingston? Yes, because we didn't notify them by November 1st. But if I've got 7th graders, it's still up for debate. What does that mean?
Yep.
That means-
Which is,
Either party.
which would have been the same situation under the old contract. Okay, under both contracts, either party could have withdrawn, changed the situation for the following fall
The
by
language
November
wasn't very
1st.
clear.
No, it's not clear.
So this just cleans up the language.
It just cleans up the language, that's all.